Hi everyone, this is Neel Raithatha, consultant audiologist and director of Earwax. Thank you for joining me in my latest video using the WAXscope. And here we have a patient who is actually a hearing aid wearer and they attend every 6 months to see myself to have their hearing aid serviced. And on this occasion, they were reporting that their hearing aid was whistling. And we call that acoustic feedback. So when you have a hearing aid, the external microphones capture the sounds. The sounds are then sent to the processor, which basically digitizes the sound. The digitized sound is then sent to the receiver, what I call the speaker, where it's retransformed into sound waves, and these sound waves are then amplified into the ear canal. Now, if these digitized and amplified sound waves exit and escape out of the ear and re-enter the hearing aid microphone, the hearing aid is re-amplifying that same sound again, and it's a vicious cycle. So every time it picks up the sound using the microphones, digitizes it, sends it to the receiver, and it's amplified in the ear, that constant cycle leads to a feedback loop and the hearing aid squeals. And ironically, if you wear hearing aids, you're just more prone to earwax impaction, because for the majority of us, I would say at 90 to 92%, the earwax that our ears produce, and we all kind of produce earwax to some degree, naturally migrates out of the ear. So the ear is self-cleansing in that respect. But when you've got a hearing aid, it can push and impact the wax and prevent it from migrating out. So although this patient's ear canal wasn't fully blocked, I would classify this as a grade 3, so I would say about 75%, up to 75% blocked. It was causing them problems because the hearing aid was whistling and they were constantly having to clean their hearing aid. So most hearing aids have what we call a wax guard or wax filter. It prevents wax from migrating inside the hearing aid itself, so it prevents it coming in contact with all the circuitry or the electronics. So they were having to constantly change their wax filter, because when the wax filter is blocked, it's doing its job, it's fulfilling its function, it's preventing the wax from migrating inside the hearing aid. However, amplified sound can't then be amplified into the ear because the filter is blocked. So the filter works both ways. It prevents wax from entering inside the hearing aid, but it also prevents amplified sound from being from exiting the hearing aid itself and into the patient's ear. So I've just used some olive oil because this wax was quite crusted and embedded. There's a bit of skin there as well. And sometimes the most difficult cases are the ones that when you've got wax or dead skin up against the canal wall, just like here, because we're having to work very gently. We don't want to poke and prod against the patient's ear canal, especially the bony, sensitive region, which is the inner 2/3. So some of this, what I'm removing here, is actually on the bony part of the ear canal. And with the WAXscope, you can see the magnification really helps. We can work with detail. We can precisely lift the wax and skin off the canal wall. So it's just a bit left here. So this skin wax is just past the first bend. It's inferiorly to the floor of the ear canal and also posteriorly to the back part of the ear canal. There's a lot of skin here, so we're going to be careful of clarinetting. When you suction, microsuction dead skin, the skin violently vibrates at the tip of the suction probe, and it can emit a very loud, high-frequency squeal. It's not only loud for the patient, but it's also loud for the clinician themselves. See, it's just a bit here again. We're just going to lift this away. Don't want to graze or scratch the patient's ear canal. There's quite a bit of hair there. Now, I used some medical grade olive oil here, and there's a residual puddle. You can probably see that, and it's resting in the inferior recess, and it's filling up probably the lower quarter of the eardrum. So I've just got that in focus. You can see probably the bubbles there as well. And I'm just using the fine end suction tip. I think this is an 18 gauge or 17 gauge And we're working really, really close to the eardrum. And I'm going to zoom in a moment. So with the WAXscope, or should I say with the Clearwax app, so whether using the WAXscope or the iClearScope endoscope, you can actually zoom in. Now, if you over zoom, it will be pixelated. So you've got to be careful you don't over zoom. But you can just see and how much more magnified this is, and it's allowing me more precision. So we've just got a little bit left there. You can see that getting suctioned away. And that's just medical grade olive oil, which I use to soften some of that lateral crusted wax and skin. Just going to focus in on the eardrum. And I'm really happy with that. So we're going to move on to the patient's left end. You can see the eardrum's fully visible, but we just got this crusted layer of wax and skin on the floor of the ear canal. It is from the entrance of the ear canal. Should I say this is just past the first bend, probably 2/3 way down, approaching the eardrum. And again, this is kind of stuck, embedded, adhered to the floor of the ear canal. So I've just put some olive oil just to loosen this, just to soften it. It's going to help me get a suction grip and lift this away. I'm just getting it in focus, the section that I want to remove. And this patient has got a slight ditch in this region of the ear canal. So you can see some of that flesh just beyond the specular at the floor of the ear canal around 6 o'clock. So the ear canal divots down slightly and it comes back up. Most of our ear canals are inclined about 32 degrees on average, but you can get these little divots, especially just past the first and second bend. And there's a few hairs here, it's matted. So again, I'm going to lift this away. If we apply too much pressure here and don't have an appreciation of where the canal is, we're going to graze this patient's ear canal floor, and it's going to be really uncomfortable. So I'm just being patient. I'm getting the suction grip. You can see slowly we're pulling it away. It is really stuck. There's like a valley here. You can see some of the blood vessels just dilating there as we're bringing this away. So I'm just angling the suction probe downwards to get into this valley, this little trench, if you like. Just getting a suction grip, lifting up and away, slowly but surely it's going to detach itself from the floor of the ear canal. But this wax and skin is quite sticky and stretchy, so as I'm pulling it, instead of lifting it away at times, it's just elongating some of this wax. I'm giving it a little wriggle at the same time. I think we've mobilized it, and now slowly but surely we can bring it out of the ear canal. And similarly, this is not going to improve the patient's hearing per se, it's just to prevent the hearing aid dome. So this patient's got a particular type of hearing aid where the main hearing aid unit sits behind their ear, and then they've got this almost like a mushroom or umbrella which is attaches to the receiver, what I call the speaker, which enters the ear, and the hearing aid unit at the back of the ear and the receiver is connected by a thin electrical cable housed in a tube. So that dome, as they're inserting it into the ear canal, it's grazing that floor of the ear, lifting some wax, and it's blocking the hearing aid dome, preventing the patient from here. So just remove some oil from the inferior recess of the patient's eardrum. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, speak soon. Bye.